Stop for a moment. Everything you think you know about death is about to be challenged. Imagine if the afterlife wasn't just a mystery, but a navigable journey, one that has been mapped out for over 1,000 years. What if an ancient text held the key to understanding what happens the moment you take your last breath? The Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the Bardo Thodol, is more than just a religious scripture. It's a roadmap that guides the soul through the mysterious stages after death. But here's the twist. What if this ancient wisdom isn't just about death? What if it holds the secrets to how we should live? For centuries, monks, mystics, and even scientists have been drawn to the teachings within this text, intrigued by its revolutionary claim that consciousness doesn't end with the body's death. Instead, it embarks on a journey through unseen realms, each stage filled with opportunities for liberation or the risk of rebirth. But what's even more shocking is how these teachings align with modern accounts of near-death experiences. Today, you and I are about to embark on a profound journey into this ancient knowledge. We will uncover what happens at the moment of death, explore the realms of visions, and ultimately face the final crossroads of rebirth. But be warned, once you hear these truths, there is no going back. Are you ready? Picture this: the moment your body takes its last breath. Science defines this as the end, but Tibetan wisdom suggests otherwise. At the very instant of death, something incredible happens. A moment of absolute clarity. As your heartbeat fades and your physical senses shut down, a radiant light appears, a dazzling brilliance unlike anything seen before. This is what Tibetan teachings call the clear light, the purest form of consciousness. It is the universe unveiling its deepest truths to you in an instant. But here's the challenge. Can you recognize this light as your own true essence? For those who have spent their lives cultivating awareness, this is the moment of ultimate liberation. If you can merge with this light, you can break free from the cycle of rebirth. But for many, this experience is overwhelming. Instead of recognizing it as their own nature, they retreat in fear, losing the opportunity to escape the endless cycle of reincarnation. This is why Tibetan monks dedicate their entire lives to meditative practice, to prepare for this exact moment, to train the mind to stay aware, to recognize the light, and to embrace it without fear. But what if you could begin that training now? What if, instead of waiting for death, you learned to see the clear light in moments of deep meditation, clarity, and self-reflection? What would it mean to live life preparing for death, not as an ending, but as the most profound journey of all? If the clear light is not recognized, the journey continues into the bardo of visions, a realm where reality bends and transforms, where the mind encounters its own projections in their most vivid forms. Imagine standing in a dream where everything you've ever feared or loved takes shape before your eyes. In this stage, consciousness is stripped bare. Without the physical body as a filter, your mind generates visions, some blissful, some terrifying. At first, peaceful deities appear, radiant and filled with infinite compassion. These figures are not external beings, but reflections of the highest aspects of your own mind. If you can recognize them as such, you achieve enlightenment. But if fear overtakes you, the visions shift, the serene faces become fierce, the light grows harsh, and terrifying entities emerge. These wrathful deities aren't punishments. They are the unprocessed emotions, desires, and fears carried from life. They are your own mind confronting itself. Can you face them without running? Can you recognize even your demons as parts of yourself that need to be understood rather than feared? Carl Jung, the famed psychologist, explored similar ideas, suggesting that these visions reflect the unconscious mind, the archetypes of our deepest fears and desires. The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that if you can accept these visions as your own creation, you are free. But if you retreat in terror, you risk being drawn into another cycle of existence. What would happen if we applied this lesson to life? Every fear, every challenge, every crisis. What if they were not obstacles, but opportunities for self-realization? What if the greatest key to peace was learning to recognize our inner demons, not as enemies, but as guides? For those who fail to recognize the visions as their own, the journey continues into the bardo of rebirth, the stage where destiny is rewritten. This is the most crucial moment of all. Here, the mind is drawn toward a new existence, guided by karma, the sum total of every action, thought, and emotion from past lives. The universe doesn't decide your fate, you do. Imagine a vast, swirling sea of possibilities. Some are bright, pulling you toward a life of opportunity. Others are darker, weighed down by past mistakes and attachments. But in the middle of it all, a door remains open, the chance to break free entirely. In this moment, awareness is everything. If you can remain conscious, if you can choose with clarity, you can shape your next existence with intention. But for most, this moment is clouded by fear, desire, and confusion. They are drawn into the next life without realizing they had a choice at all. This is why Tibetan teachings emphasize mindfulness in daily life. Every thought, every emotion is shaping your future, not just in this life, but in the ones to come. What if we could master our karma now, before it's too late? The Tibetan masters have long understood that the key to navigating the bardos is training the mind now, in this life. Practices such as meditation, mantra recitation, and consciousness transference are designed to cultivate awareness, allowing the practitioner to recognize the bardos as they unfold. In the next section, we will explore the power of meditation, the significance of impermanence, and how modern science is beginning to validate ancient wisdom. Through these practices, we can begin to understand that life itself is a training ground for death, and that embracing impermanence leads to a deeper sense of purpose and freedom. Stay with me, because what comes next may change the way you see reality itself. Meditation is the cornerstone of Tibetan Buddhist practice, and it serves as the ultimate preparation for death. Through meditation, practitioners learn to cultivate awareness, quiet the mind, and detach from the illusions of ego and identity. By training in meditation, one becomes familiar with the mental states that arise in the bardos, reducing fear and confusion at the time of death. Tibetan masters teach that the key to a peaceful transition is learning to let go while still alive, releasing attachments, fears, and desires that bind us to suffering. Mantra chanting, breathwork, and visualization techniques help focus the mind, making it easier to recognize the clear light when the moment of death arrives. The famous Phawa practice, or consciousness transference, is designed to guide the soul into enlightenment at the moment of passing. Imagine how different life would be if we lived with this same awareness every day. What if we practiced letting go not just in death, but in every moment, releasing grudges, fears, and attachments that weigh us down? The Tibetan Book of the Dead teaches that by preparing for death, we truly learn how to live. In the next section, we will explore how the principles of impermanence and non-attachment can lead to a life of greater clarity, purpose, and fearlessness. Understanding impermanence is at the heart of Tibetan Buddhist philosophy. Everything in life, our relationships, possessions, and even our own identity, is constantly changing. By accepting this truth, we can free ourselves from attachment and fear. Impermanence teaches us that clinging leads to suffering, while embracing change allows us to flow with the natural course of existence. When we resist change, we suffer. But when we accept it, we find peace. How would your life change if you truly embraced impermanence? Would you let go of grudges more easily? Would you cherish each moment more deeply? By living with this awareness, we begin to prepare for death, not as something to dread, but as a natural transition. This shift in perspective is powerful. It allows us to live with greater joy and less fear, knowing that nothing is permanent and that every moment is precious. In the next section, we will explore how modern science is beginning to validate these ancient insights and what they mean for the way we understand consciousness itself. Modern science is beginning to uncover insights that align closely with ancient Tibetan wisdom. Neuroscience, quantum physics, and near-death studies all suggest that consciousness may not be solely dependent on the physical brain. Could it be possible that the Tibetan Book of the Dead was revealing truths about the nature of existence that science is only now beginning to comprehend? Near-death experiences, NDEs, provide fascinating parallels to the descriptions in the bardos. Reports of bright lights, profound peace, and encounters with otherworldly beings echo what has been described for centuries in Tibetan texts. Some researchers argue that these experiences hint at the continuation of consciousness beyond death. Quantum mechanics also offers intriguing possibilities. Theories such as quantum consciousness propose that our awareness exists beyond space and time, reinforcing the idea that death is not an end, but a transition. Could it be that the barriers between science and spirituality are beginning to dissolve? As research continues, the wisdom of ancient traditions may hold the key to unlocking some of the greatest mysteries of human existence. In our final section, we will explore how these insights can transform the way we live, offering a profound perspective on life, death, and the interconnected nature of reality. The teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead are not just a guide for dying. They are a manual for how to live fully, fearlessly, and with purpose. By understanding the bardos, we gain insight into how to navigate the transitions of life, whether they are moments of loss, change, or personal growth. By practicing mindfulness, embracing impermanence, and cultivating awareness, we can prepare ourselves for both life and death. Each moment offers a chance for liberation, for seeing beyond illusion and stepping into a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. What if we could carry this wisdom into our daily lives? What if we lived every day with the awareness that each moment is fleeting and precious? The truth is, to prepare for death is to prepare for life. This journey through the bardos is an invitation to awaken, to transform, and to embrace life with open eyes and an open heart. The question remains, how will you choose to live now that you know?